Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about KAS. I haven't made a video about KAS for a while, but there's been some huge updates that are really important to share and just really positive and bullish for KAS in the near future. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. Let's get into it. So yeah guys, sorry I haven't made a video for a while and I haven't made a video about KAS for a while, and the main reason is I've just been quite busy, and to be honest, YouTube is just paying me so little for the videos. I'm just doing it more as a hobby right now. But I'm hoping when some of these projects take off, it'll blow the channel up a bit more, and I'll have a bit more success, and then I'll be a bit more motivated to make videos. But yeah, so I'm a bit slow in making this video because last week, as I'm sure many people who follow KAS will know, Kasplex launched. So they had a kind of failed launch about 2 months ago. They had to go back and redo some stuff behind the scenes to get it working correctly, and then they launched Kasplex last week. I think it was last week, or maybe it was over the weekend. I can't remember. It was about a week and a half ago anyway. So firstly, for anyone who doesn't know, like, what is Kasplex, and this is the official breakdown from the Kasplex website. So Kasplex is a comprehensive solution that incorporates a data insertion protocol, an open source indexer, data availability mechanisms, and robust APIs. It leverages Kaspa's high block rate, scalability, and decentralized proof of work layer 1 to facilitate efficient data insertion, address the UTXO bloat issue, and support a sustainable ecosystem. Additionally, the Kasplex protocol sets standards for creating KRC 20 tokens and NFTs on the Kaspa network, fostering the development of a diverse ecosystem of decentralized applications. And the point where Kasplex is at now is this KRC 20 area. Basically just means that you now, even you or I could create a token on the KAS blockchain and launch that token. And you're even seeing now some projects launching that are pegged to Tether, launching on the Kaspa blockchain. And this is a really big deal in a way bigger way that I'm going to explain in a second, but it just means that some projects now can launch on KAS and an ecosystem begin to build out. So it's pretty cool just in itself. But what this was really important for this launch was a proof of concept to KAS, a real test for the machine and show how it worked. So Shai Desh, one of the creators of Kaspa, he wrote this tweet then and just said, "Ladies and gentlemen of KAS and crypto, I don't think you understand the magnitude of what's going on right now. We are witnessing for the first time in history a fully deployed production mainnet of a proof of work coin, perfectly handling a constant organic throughput of 200 to 300 BPS, which means blocks per second." Now, what he actually meant to say was TPS, so transactions per second, and queues in the tens of thousands. This is objectively the most successful live run in the history of proof of work, nothing less. So really big deal. Basically, the world record for how many transactions could be handled by a proof of work blockchain was blown out of the water by KAS. And this is I'm going to explain in a minute why this is even a bigger deal than it appears to be. But we saw throughput. Now, I heard people saying the throughput was hitting something like 1,000 transactions per second at certain points. I don't know, but I'm going to follow what Shai Desh is saying. And he said 250 to 300 transactions per second. And then we've got a thing that's called a mempool, which is just basically a memory bank where transactions store. So say if we can process 250 to 300 transactions per second, and someone sends through 10,000, well, then 9,700 of those need to go into the memory pool to be processed at a later time when the network isn't as congested. And that happened and worked perfectly. So the whole thing worked perfectly, more or less. Now, what's really exciting about this is right now KAS is working at 1 block per second. And with the Rust update, it's going to move to 10 blocks per second. Now, I could be wrong at this and I'm open to correction, but I imagine that if it's moving to 10 blocks per second, that means that the transactions per second will be able to move pretty comfortably then to 2,500 to 3,000 per second, which, is incredible. And then the future plan down the line for KAS, and you've always, when you're talking about plans, you have to take it with a pinch of salt and say, well, maybe the plan won't happen. But I think it's pretty solid and believable that KAS is going to achieve these milestones. So I think 10 blocks per second is going to come in the near future, and then probably a year or two down the line after that, I'm not sure what the timeline is, but the aim is 100 blocks per second. I'm not sure if there's any scalability beyond that. I've only ever heard them talk in terms of 1 block per second, 10 blocks per second, and 100 blocks per second. But I'm sure far down the line, with improvements in hardware, things like that, it's possible that could even scale beyond that. But at 100 blocks per second, we're going to see then, I think my maths is right in saying like 25,000 transactions per second to 30,000 transactions per second. Huge, like just it's going to this means this will just blow things like Visa out of the water, blow proof of stakes like Solana out of the water, Ethereum out of the water. It's a really, really big deal, especially when you think that decentralized apps and smart contracts is something that will probably is aimed to be released on KAS in 2 or 3 years. Sorry, I mentioned Cubic not to piss off KAS people, but I make a lot of videos on Cubic and a lot more regularly recently. So it's always in my head when I'm making videos like this. So that anyway, the point that I'm making here is it's hugely scalable, and it's been shown to be this scalable in an actual working environment. And if I bring Cubic into the scene here, Cubic's a project I'm quite bullish on too, and that I love and enjoy reporting on. And Cubic has been shown to be super fast, but none of that is in a real world scenario. It's all in test environments. So this is in a real world scenario where so many things can go wrong, and it came true with flying colors. So amazing. This is such a unique, just such a big achievement. Then Shaidesh went on to say, I thought it's obvious, but maybe I should explain. When you have a network running at 300 transactions per second and users are issuing transactions at a higher rate, the network will become congested and fees will hike up. So that's why there were some higher fees on the KAS network during this time. This is just how the fee markets work. The usage spike is a result of the launch of a new and highly anticipated platform, but it'll smooth out shortly. And because Kasplex launched, there was huge congestion on the network. But he gets on to what's important here. And with that, if you want to push a transaction through, you can bid more to push that transaction through quicker. And due to congestion, then fees will hike up. He said what's important is that the network handles these huge loads beautifully. On the layer 1, we see that Kaspa nodes are running smoothly despite full blocks and ever-growing memory pool queue. On the peer-to-peer side, we see that resolvers and RPC servers are handling the load just as well. On the ecosystem, we see that RBF and fee estimation is working great on the wallets that implemented it. And on the layer 2, we see that the KRC 20 indexers, so this is basically we're talking about Kasplex now, are handling the load just as well. When any network is highly congested, you have 2 options: pay a high fee for expediting your transaction, or pay a low fee and wait longer. A nice feature unique to Kaspa that I've used congestion to test a little bit is that low fee transactions are not starved. I presume what he means is that the low fee transactions do eventually go through. That's my understanding of it. Again, this congestion came at 1 block per second. When you think moving to 10 and potentially in the future 100 blocks per second, that congestion will leave. I think fees, what I was hearing, it was around 25 cents was the average fee at the highest point of congestion. So it's still not like those fees were super high. It was just that the network was really, really getting tested to the last, and it came true with flying colors, other than some slightly higher fees at a low block rate. So again, a huge proof of concept. This is more than any testing can ever show. it actually works, and it's a really big deal. Of course, what's kind of shocking is, of course, and it just shows that we're in speculative markets, the price of KAS, of course, doesn't move. It moves at times when nothing's really happening and shoots up. And then at the time when something like this happens, when you really should see the price of KAS shoot up and it become a top 10 crypto, the price doesn't really do anything. And that's the crypto world for you. And I can imagine KAS will actually probably go down a bit in value over the next week or two, and then probably towards the end of the year you're going to see it shoot up in value for no other reason than it's just KAS, and the people that are behind it are a big deal, and it's the best layer 1 proof of work by far now. That's why it's going to be successful. But this proof of concept should have blown the price up. It's crazy, really. And then there's loads of coins, meme coins that have been released in KAS, but I'm not going to talk about those because I don't want to be promoting them. Some I'm sure will be great investments, some will be scams, but that's what you get with a decentralized network. One of the issues then that happened was with the Kasware wallet, and as Shaidesh shared, it's just important notes for Kasware wallets that it's highly advised to stop minting on the Kasware wallet. It appears that Kasware wallet is currently experiencing an issue with the correct handling of fees, which jeopardizes users' funds, and try to get further feedback. Basically, a lot of people lost nearly all their KAS minting into meme coins. They got a meme coin that wasn't worth anything, and they lost nearly all their funds because this Kasware wallet wasn't prepared. But that's not the fault of KAS. It's the fault of things that happen with decentralized systems, and why sometimes you have to be really, really careful on a decentralized system, because anyone can be building on it. Like me, for example, I could be building on it with no knowledge of what I'm doing, and if you're not careful, people can either scam you, which in the case of Kasware, it wasn't a scam, but it was poor programming, I guess, or poor planning, and they ended up not being able to handle the load, and they were charging people basically thousands of KAS. As far as I understand, this is what was happening to do minting on the KAS network. But just really important to note, don't think that in any way is a negative mark towards KAS as the layer 1. KAS as the layer 1 worked perfect and performed perfect. The Kasware wallet is a completely separate thing that's just built on KAS, but has nothing to do with the development team of KAS, has nothing to do with KAS in general. It's just a decentralized app that's built on the KAS layer 1. And then Shaidesh just went on to say, fees were high because the Kasware bug create transactions with exorbitant fees, pushing the entire average up. After it was shut down, we've seen 130,000 transaction memory pool with an average fee of 1.3 KAS, and it held stable throughout the night. So, I'm even saying that I heard that the average was something like 25 cent or something like that for KAS, per KAS, and I guess this is kind of hitting that mark as well around that point. So about 1.3 KAS was the average transaction fee, especially with quite a congested network at the time, running at 1 block per second. So you can imagine with 10 blocks per second or 100 blocks per second, the fees would be not nominal. They really would be low. And then Kasplex shared then after and just said, in just 24 hours, we've seen a staggering basically 22 million KAS in gas fees paid. Now, I mean, you got to look at that in two ways. Is it a good thing to see all those fees paid? I mean, some people would say no, but it's, miners are earning money out of that. That's interesting. Definitely showing that the network's working. We saw that there was 13.5 million basically transactions and 165 tokens deployed. What a phenomenal day. The community's enthusiasm is truly remarkable, and this is a great launch of Kasplex. But the point here is the scalability was really impressive, and the fees weren't over the top, and this was on 1 block per second. So really, really positive news for KAS. This project, I don't see how it doesn't go into being at least a top 10 project and a really big deal, and I don't see how it doesn't end up with 30-40 billion market cap at least in the future. But at the same time, I I don't know. Nothing's guaranteed in crypto. Anything can go wrong, but the safest money, as far as I can see, for the next year is probably just with KAS. It looks like a really just guaranteed investment to, at least 2x, 3x your investment. That's all I've got for you today, guys. I'll see you all on the outside.